This is going to be director's intro, take 1.
Good evening, and welcome to Central Wisconsin Area Community. Oh, it's recording, and it's not what I want at all.
Cut!
Right, hello, Governor. Welcome to... Our forefathers, Frank Capra, brought upon us a production known as It's a What?
Cut! Joe,
What? I thought
too much.
I thought I was a good Lincoln. Do svidanya, comrades, and welcome...
Cut!
Take 5?
Well, hello there, laddie, and welcome to the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theatre's production of It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, what? Oh, it's because the hat.
I'm not even going to make that a take.
It's green, okay? It's green. This isn't your normal show, but I think...
Cut!
What? Hi, everyone, and welcome to Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life.
Can we get someone else in here?
That was good.
What about Jonah Hill? Is Mayor Weeza available?
That was good. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life. I'm the director, Joe Nowinski. This isn't your normal show, but I thank you for joining us here tonight, or today. We hope you enjoy our production fully, so while you're at home, make sure you silence and put down your cell phones. No, really. And also unwrap your candies or your takeout now, or later, I suppose. And while the actors aren't live today, we really look forward to seeing you in theater again safely as soon as we can. Also coming the spring of 2021, cwACT will be starting our capital campaign to raise money for our rehearsal space. We want to be primed and ready to bring magic to the stage far into the future. Like what we do or want to be a part of a production? Join us on Facebook or go to our website, cwACT.org, and click Become a Member. Want to donate to keep the theater alive and thriving in Central Wisconsin? Visit cwACT.org/donate. Merry Christmas, festive holidays, and Happy New Year.
You've tuned into the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater radio show. And now for something completely different. For the next hour, we welcome you to take a trip into the joy of the holiday season. A story for every man, woman, and child. The Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater wants to welcome you to our radio production of It's a Wonderful Life, directed by Joe Nowinski, starring Christopher Bongen, Amanda Freeberg, Tanya Hayes, and Amanda Peterson, along with Amanda David, Larry Iverson, Beth Juris, Nicholas Lamers, Jefferson Lee, Peter Monk, Melissa Pataki, Noah Tolbert, Jeff Tressler, Emily Walquist, Allison Wasinski, Stephen Witt, and Zoe Zaleski, and John Zhang. Sound effects artist, Tom Russell. Technical director, J.R. Amernick, and myself, Mark Krachek, in It's a Wonderful Life. But first, a word from our sponsors.
In ancient times, kings would protect themselves and their kingdoms by posting a sentry by a gate in a castle wall. The sentry's job was to keep watch and be on guard, always on the lookout for trouble, ready to step in and protect. Your business is like your kingdom, so you should have a sentry on guard to protect it. That's why you need Sentry Insurance. Sentry Insurance provides protection for when things go wrong. They can help you find the right coverage, manage claims, and help you minimize risks. That's Sentry Insurance.
Who is that?
She looks like she just stepped off the farm.
Who is that? She looks like the girl of my dreams.
The
girl of your dreams?
Yes, she's the girl of every man's dreams because she's the Feltz's Dairy Store girl, providing all your favorite Wisconsin cheeses and dairy products, and other local specialty foods too. Feltz's Dairy Store in Stevens Point. Food, family, and fun.
Every good story has a moral. It's a cold winter's night in central Wisconsin. A raven caws in the distance. The road is slick. A lone vehicle with bald tires slithers on an ice patch as a cold northern wind whips the vehicle. Our hero, Griff, barely avoided catastrophe, but he's going to need to get a new set of tires on the road. Griff's stomach growls, realizing he has a foot-long-sized hunger. He's running out of gas. What's that? Oh no, Griff looks in terror. He huffs and puffs. He's running out of gas. Literally. But what's that? In the distance, a sign for Team Cheryl Companies. Yes, the company that has gas, food, and more at the store. Griff walks in the door and grabs a bite at a TSC Subway restaurant. Griff makes sure he gets his new tires and gets his vehicle in tip-top shape at Cheryl Tire and Service Centers. The moral of the story? For service, come to Team Cheryl.
And now, the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater presents It's a Wonderful Life. This is the story of George Bailey, an ordinary man who lives in Bedford Falls, New York. But George Bailey, more than anything, wanted to see the world, the exciting world that lay beyond his hometown. However, our story doesn't begin in Bedford Falls. In fact, it doesn't begin anywhere in this world. It begins in heaven, where the superintendent of angels is briefing an apprentice angel named Clarence.
Clarence Oddbody, Angel, second class, reporting for duty, Your Honor. Are you really sending me down to Earth?
Yes. You see, there's a man in trouble down there. At precisely 10:45 p.m., Earth time, a man named George Bailey will be thinking about ending his life.
Oh my, the most precious gift, and I only have a moment to dress. Do you think, just maybe, I can finally earn my wings? I've only been waiting 200 years.
Listen, Clarence, you must stop him if you can. Now, let me brief you about George Bailey's case history. You see, when George was a boy...
Oh, that's okay, Your Honor. All I need is a plan. You see, Your Honor, I'm reading The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Mark Twain. Tom Sawyer always has a plan.
I see. Well, if you can help George Bailey with your plan, Clarence, you may just get your wings.
Yes, thank you for your confidence in me, boss.
Now, when George Bailey was a boy, his little brother fell through the ice.
And George jumped in to save him?
Yes, but as a result, George has a bad ear.
Sure, the icy water, infection.
A few months later, young George was working after school at Gower's drugstore. But on this day, Mr. Gower's only son died of influenza. Devastated, Mr. Gower was trying to drown his sorrow in whiskey when the door opened to the shop and the...
George, did you deliver that prescription?
Well, no, Mr. Gower.
Why didn't you deliver that right away? The little blank girl is sick. You lost it, didn't you?
No, Mr. Gower. Here it is.
Here? Why, you...
Ow! Oh, Mr. Gower, my ear, my ear!
You good for nothing! Lazy loafer!
You're hurting my sore ear. No, Mr. Gower. You put something wrong in those pills.
Shut up, you little...
Look! I know you're sad, but you put something bad in those capsules. It's poison.
Poison? Poison? Oh God.
Don't hurt my sore ear again, please.
Oh, George.
That's why I didn't deliver it. I won't ever tell a soul, Mr. Gower. I won't tell anyone hope to die.
Well, George grew up and he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't enough money. So he worked 4 years at Bailey Building and Loan Associate.
A building and loan?
Yes, George's father was in the building and loan business. He and George's uncle Billy. But it was a case of high ideals and low bank account.
Those two always seem to go together.
George worked for his father and saved enough to pay for college. But first, he was going to summer in Europe, working his way across on a cattle boat.
Gee, it's hard to believe this is going to be my last night at the old Bailey boarding house.
We'll all miss you, George.
I'm going to miss you, Ma. You too, Pop. But hey, what's the matter? You look kind of tired.
Had another run-in with Henry Potter today.
That old money-grubbing buzzard? I thought when you put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up a bit. I don't understand somebody like Mr. Potter.
Potter owns about everything he wants in town. Everything except the Bailey building alone. Maybe that's why he hates us.
Hey, George, can I borrow your tuxedo cufflinks for tonight's dance?
Sure, help yourself, Harry.
Well, where are they? Here in your suitcase? Say, where'd you get that beat up old suitcase anyway, George?
At the Emporium, Harry. Mr. Gower bought it for George.
A going away present?
Yep, far away. You see, one of these days that bag will be plastered with travel stickers, you know? Rome, Baghdad, Samarkand.
I guess you're gonna have a pretty full summer, George.
Oh, I'm gonna have a pretty full life.
So, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
Nah, I'd be bored to death.
Oh, but what a wonderful death. Well, I gotta run.
Was I like that when I graduated from high school?
Pretty much. I sure do wish we could send Harry to college with you, George.
Yeah, but Harry can take over my job at the building and loan, work for 4 years, and then he'll go.
He's pretty young for that job. Maybe you were just born old, George.
Oh, how's that, Pop? My trick ear.
I said you were born old. George, when you get out of college, you wouldn't come back to the building alone, would you?
Oh, no. Now, Pop, I just couldn't face being cooped up for the rest of my life in that shabby little office with all the paperwork and...
I see.
I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean that. But it's just staying here. I just go crazy, you see? I want to do something big, something important.
But in a small way, we are doing something important, George. In that shabby little office, we help people buy their own homes.
I know, Pop, but I feel if I didn't get away, I'd bust.
I guess you're right. Get that education, then do what you want, son.
You know, Pop, you ready for a shock? I think you're a pretty great guy.
Well, thanks, George. Look, why don't you run along to Harry's dance? You'll have fun.
I guess I could drop in. Maybe I will at that. See you later, Pop.
So, George went to a dance?
And at that dance, he fell in the pool with Mary Hatch. Later, he was walking her home. They were feeling pretty good, Clarence. As a matter of fact, wonderful.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Hot dog, eh, Mary?
We sound beautiful, George.
Hey, you know something, Mary? I'd almost say you're the prettiest girl in town. You look wonderful.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Hey, how old are you anyway?
18?
18. Well, it seems like only last year you were just 17. Hey, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah. I gotta throw a rock.
Oh, what? George, no. Even though it's deserted, I love this old place.
With deserted old houses, you make a wish and then you try to bust a window.
But it's such a lovely old house. I want to live there someday.
In there? I wouldn't live there if I were a ghost. Now, watch. How about that, huh? Pretty good shot, eh? Broke that window.
What did you wish for, George?
Wish? Oh, I don't know. Not just one wish, Mary. A whole hatful of them. You see, I'm leaving this crummy little town. I want to see the world, Italy, Greece, the Parthenon. And that's just this summer. And then I'm coming back and going to college to see what they know, of course.
Of course.
And then I'm gonna build things. I'm gonna build airfields and bridges a mile long. And then I'm gonna, come on, Mary. What is it you want? Do you want the moon? All you gotta do is say the word and I'll throw a rope around it and pull it down.
The moon. I'll take it. Then what?
Then what? Well, then you swallow it and it dissolves and moonbeams shoot out your fingers. And then, do you think I'm talking too much?
Yes! Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
How's that?
Youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Well, hey, just a minute. Hey, you, come back here. I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair on your chest. Come on, get back here.
George, get in the car, quick.
Uncle Billy, hey, just you watch. I'm gonna give Mary a kiss. Here, watch this.
Get in the car, quick. It's your father, he's had a stroke.
What? My father?
Come on, George, get in, hurry.
Well, George's father died that night, Clarence. And that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting.
Has anyone else seen this plan?
Without somebody in charge?
You need to stand up to Potter.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Potter?
Now that Peter Bailey is dead, I move that we dissolve this building and loan and turn its assets and liabilities over to a receiver.
That seems very reasonable. Something has to be done.
Peter Bailey was not a businessman. Ideals without common sense can ruin this town. And what's that get us? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. Now, who will second my motion to dissolve?
I'll second it.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Hold on, Mr. Potter.
Oh, I meant no disrespect, George, but your father was not a...
Now, wait a minute. My father ever started this penny ante building and loan, I'll never know. But just remember this, Mr. Potter, that rabble you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community.
So?
Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle.
My word.
In my book, Mr. Potter, my father died a richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book, George. I'm talking about the building and loan.
No! You're talking about something you can't get your greedy little hands on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about. Well, this town needs this measly one-horse institution. If only it can have some place to go where it can borrow a few dollars without crawling to Mr. Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy.
So, what happened, George?
You won't believe it. Boy, oh boy, you should have heard, George.
Oh yeah, right now they're voting us out of business.
Well, who cares? Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. You want to miss college, too?
I'm going.
George! They just voted Potter down. Whoopee! We're still in business! But there's one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
Appoint me? I'm leaving. Right for college right now. No. Uncle Billy's your man.
George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Potter otherwise. They said so. Without you, any semblance of this building...
So, George Bailey didn't make it to college, boss?
No, he didn't, Clarence. George gave his college money to his brother Harry. Harry went instead.
But what about that girl? You know, Mary?
Oh, George saw her now and again, but Mary also went away to college. And George worked 4 more years at the building and loan, waiting for Harry to finish school, come back, and take over. George still hoped to see the world, though. He planned to work in the oil fields of Venezuela, except when Harry came back, he brought a girl with him. A wife.
So, George, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
Ruth, she's swell. Harry's got all the luck.
She'll certainly keep him on his toes.
Well, keep him out of Bedford Falls, anyway.
Now, Ruth's father has a good job for Harry up in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo. And that means?
Oh, well then you can't... I'm so sorry, George.
Yeah.
Well, but did you know Mary Hatch is back from college, too? Nice girl, that Mary.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, stop this moping, George Bailey. It's not like you.
Well, what do you want me to do, Mother?
Give me one reason why you shouldn't go see Mary.
Well, what about Sam Wainwright for one? Sam's crazy about Mary.
Well, she's not crazy about him. Mary's got her eye on you, George. Besides, Sam's all the way in New York.
Okay, Mother, trying to get rid of me, eh? Well, I think I'll go and find a girl and do some passionate necking.
Oh, George.
Good night, Mrs. Bailey. By the way, do you need anything from the library?
Library? George! George, you go see Mary, do you hear?
George, what are you doing out there?
What? Me? I was just passing by.
Yes, several times. I thought you were picketing or haunting me.
Now, why would I be haunting you?
Your mother said that you were coming over.
My mother phoned? Well, I was just passing by, that's all.
Well, are you coming in or aren't you?
Well, okay, if you insist. I'll come in. For a minute.
So, it's nice about Harry's new wife, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Ruth. It's okay.
What's the matter? You don't like her?
What? No, Ruth's a peach.
Oh, so it's just marriage in general you're down on then, huh?
No, marriage is all right for some people. I mean, it's fine for Harry, for Sam Wainwright, and you.
For Sam?
Mary, who's down there?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? What's he want?
I don't know. What do you want, George?
Me? Nothing. Not a thing.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
He is. You tell him to go right back home. Sam Wainwright said he'd call tonight from New York.
I guess so, Mother. So, George, how about a little music here?
You know, your mother really shouldn't, Hey. That. I'm not here just to reminisce about old times.
Well, then what are you here for?
Well, I don't know. You're supposed to be the girl with all the answers. Why don't you tell me why?
Why don't you just go home?
Okay, I will go home.
Mary, the telephone.
I don't even know why I ever came here.
Mary!
Good night.
Good night.
Mary! Maybe it's Sam. Answer it.
All right. I'll get it, Mother. George, on your way out, could you turn off the phonograph?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Stupid song.
Hello, Hatch residence. Sam?
Hey, Mary. Good to hear your voice.
Excuse me, Mary. I forgot my hat.
Oh, Sam! Oh, how nice of you to call. You know, one of your old friends is here, George Bailey.
What? Old George Bailey? Old Mossback George, in person?
Yep, old Mossback George.
Oh, well, put old George on. I want to say hi.
Wait a minute, Sam. George!
Mary, you idiot! Sam doesn't want to speak to George.
He does too. He even asked for George.
What is it, Mary? I'm in a hurry. I got to get back to the
Wait,
building alone.
wait, it's Sam Wainwright. He said he wants to talk to you.
Sam Wainwright. Oh. Hi, Sam.
Some pal you are. What, are you trying to steal my girl?
Steal your... Now, hold on. Nobody's trying to steal any girl here. Mary, here's Sam.
No, wait a minute, George. Wait. I want to speak to both of you. Put Mary on the extension.
He says he wants you to go on the extension.
I can't. Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
Here, George, just lean in a little closer. We can both hear. Sam? We're both on the line.
Good. Now, I have a plan that's going to make us all rich. George, remember one time in Martini's Tavern, you told me about making plastics out of soybeans.
Oh, yeah, soybeans, okay.
Well, my father's investing in it, George. We're going to open a factory. We might even have a job for you. That is, if you're not still married to that broken down old building and loan.
Well, we'll have to see, Sam.
Oh, Mary, tell George this is the chance of a lifetime. You hear?
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone.
George.
Now you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics, any job. I don't want to get married to anyone. Ever. Do you understand me?
Oh, George.
I want to do what I want to do, and you're not going to trick me into any...
George.
Oh, Mary, I
know.
And so, Clarence, George and Mary were married that October, and the two headed off for their honeymoon in Ernie Bishop's taxicab.
So, where are you two heading on this deluxe honeymoon?
We're shooting the works, Ernie. It'll be the highest tower, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
And you're finally getting out of Bedford Falls, too. Then what?
Gee, I don't know. Then what, dear?
The moon. Who cares?
Hey, George, there's something going on at the bank. A run, looks like.
What? Pull over, Ernie.
Oh, George, no. Let's not stop, please. Ernie, just go straight to the train station. George, don't.
Wait a minute, honey. I gotta see what this is. I'll be back in a second.
No, George. Please, George, don't go.
We'll return to the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life in just a moment. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Oh, darling, just look at that beautiful sunset.
Uh-huh.
And the colors are just beautiful.
They sure are. And the legs are great, too.
I beg your pardon.
I mean the legs of this wine. This wine I got from Sunset Point Winery.
Sunset Point Winery? Well, if that's what you're talking about, what kind of wines do they have?
Red, white, fruit wines, and they even have dessert wine. How about I pour you a glass and we can enjoy the sunset a little more?
Oh, darling.
Sunset Point Winery in historic downtown Stevens Point. Family owned, locally made since 2015. Every day you select things.
I want that one!
Can I get 5 of those?
I think that's the one I want.
But when it comes to selecting where to go for auto repair, service, or tires, the selection is easy. Auto Select. Just listen to this. It's a dark night, and Bob is taking Sarah home from a night of jitterbugging when all of a sudden.
Aw, cripes. What kind of nonsense is this?
Don't flip your wig. Just go to Auto Select. They have rewards on services and repairs, shuttle service, and even loaner cars while your ride is being repaired. With 3 locations in Stevens Point, you'll get the repairs you need. Auto Select, you're good to go.
Oh, sweetie, are you ready for bed? What are you doing to our mattress?
We don't want the neighbors to hear. I'm putting all our money in the mattress.
But why?
Your wife asks an excellent question. Why hide your money in your mattress when you could deposit it at the Pineries Bank in Stevens Point? The Pineries Bank offers personalized service and common sense lending because your life is more than a formula. The Pineries Bank, 3601 Main Street, Stevens Point. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
And now Act 2 of the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life. In heaven, the superintendent of angels is still reviewing George Bailey's case history. Clarence, an apprentice angel, is eager to depart for his mission to Earth.
Goodness, boss, I've heard enough background. If George Bailey's contemplating suicide, I better head down to Earth right away.
Hold it, Clarence. We're not anywhere near the point where George Bailey is thinking of taking his life. Now, where were we?
George and Mary were heading out of town on their honeymoon when they ran into a bank run, I mean.
Yes. It was the financial panic of 1932. You see, bank troubles were very prevalent back then, and...
I have bills to pay, and I need to buy...
Whoa, what's going on, boss?
In the lobby of the building and loan, dozens of worried shareholders were clamoring for their savings. Meanwhile, George found Uncle Billy in his office.
It's a bank panic, George. The bank had a run. They needed cash, so they demanded we pay off our loan. Immediately! I had to hand over all our cash. I had to.
You handed over all the cash? But that means...
The whole town's gone nuts, George. Now we're in the same pickle as the bank.
But our charter requires us to stay open until 6 p.m. If we don't, they could take our license away.
Stay open until 6? Without any cash?
Come on. Let's see the crowd out there. Okay. Hold on now, please. Now, please. Everybody, don't panic.
We want our money, George. Where is our money?
Yeah, give it to us now, George.
Oh, come on, everybody. Wait, just a minute now. Listen here. Come on, you've got it all wrong. Your money isn't here.
What do you mean?
What?
Where is it?
Just a minute. Let me explain. Your money's not here. It's not in the safe. No, the money you've invested in this building and the loan was put into people's houses. It's in Ernie's house and your house and 100 other houses. Do you want me to foreclose on them? Throw them out of their homes?
Well, of course
I have to think about my family.
It's ridiculous.
We just
I
want
got
our money.
$242 in shares here. Close my account. I want my money now.
Mine too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, Charlie, okay. Sign this form. You'll get your money in 60 days.
60
days? Wait, what do you mean 60 days?
Well, that's what you all agreed to when you bought your shares.
Hey, I got my money.
How'd you get that money?
Where'd you do?
Where'd you? Up at Old Man Potter's. He's taken over the bank. He'll pay you 50 cents on the dollar for your shares.
Heck, if you have money, let's get over there.
That's something.
Come on, let's take our shares to Potter. Half is better than nothing.
Let's go.
Wait, come on, please, folks, don't do this. Stop! Listen, if Potter gets a hold of the building and loan, there won't be a decent house built in this community again. Can't you see? He's just got the bank. He's already got the bus line, the department store, and now he's after us. He wants to keep you living in his shacks, paying the rent he decides.
Well, you do have a point, George. I don't know.
He's trying to squeeze you dry.
That's a lot of fine talk, George, but I've got doctor bills to pay.
My husband got laid off. We can't feed our kids on faith.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
George, darling.
Hey, Mary.
How much money do they need? We've still got some money, the honeymoon money.
Yeah! Wait, folks. I've got $2,000 here. Okay, so we've got some cash, all right? Charlie, how much do you need?
$242.
Come on, Charlie. How about just enough to tide you over?
I want my $242.
Okay. Uncle Billy, give Charlie here $242.
I want $40.
Okay, all right, Mrs. Davis now.
Well, $17 then.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? Now? Let's spread it out. Okay, $16, Ernie.
Look at the clock, George. Look!
I'm looking, Uncle Billy. I'm looking. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Bingo! Yeah!
Yeah! 6 o'clock. We made it.
Lock the door. Still in business, Uncle Billy. Even if we only got $2 left.
George, telephone.
Okay, Tilly. Oh, by the way, call my wife, will you? I forgot all about our honeymoon.
Mrs. Bailey's on the line.
No, I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want Mrs. Bailey. Wait, Mrs. Bailey. Oh, yeah, right. That is my wife. Give me the phone already, will ya? Hello? Is this Mrs. Bailey?
Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey.
Well, Mary, we survived. I'm sorry. I didn't get us.
Now that you're done saving things, come home.
Huh?
Come home.
Come home? Well, what home?
Our home.
What?
Our home, George, at 320 Sycamore.
320 Sycamore? Huh? Oh, whose home is that?
Our home.
What?
Our home, Saphead.
But Mary, how can we have a home? Right now. Okay, sure. All right. Sure.
I love you.
I love you too, honey. I'm coming home.
Clarence, do you know where 320 Sycamore was?
His mother-in-law's house?
No, it was the old Granville house where George and Mary threw rocks and made wishes. You see, her wish was to marry George and live in the Granville house, and that's where they honeymooned. That's where they set up house, and that's where they were still living 2 years later when Mr. Potter asked George to drop by his office.
Now, George, I suppose you're wondering why you're here.
I have no idea, Mr. Potter, but I'm sure you do.
Now, look, you're a young man, 27, 28, married, making what, $40 a week?
45.
Okay, 45. And if you were a common, ordinary yokel, I'd say you were doing well. However, you're no common, ordinary yokel, son. You're an intelligent, resourceful, ambitious young man who hates his job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you hate the building and loan almost as much as I do, George. You've been dying to get out of this town ever since you were born. You see your friends, your brother, go places, while you're trapped here, trapped into frittering away your life, playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Is this a correct picture, George, or do I exaggerate?
So, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is that I want to hire you, George.
Hire me? To do what?
To manage my affairs, oversee my properties, and I can start you off at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year? Are you sure you're talking to me? I'm George Bailey. You know, the building and loan, George Bailey?
Yes, the George Bailey whose ship has just come in, providing he has the brains to climb aboard.
Yes, but what about the building and loan?
Forget the building and loan. I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year. Do we have a deal or not?
No. No! I can't do it. If you offered me $1 million to stay in Bedford Falls and to be your stooge, the answer would still be no. Now let me out of here. Sorry I'm late, Mary.
I'm just doing some stitching, George. So, what did Mr. Potter want to talk to you about?
Oh, nothing really. Just talk. You know. But geez, why did you marry a guy like me anyway?
Well, I didn't want to be an old maid.
But I was going to see the world, go places, build things. I was going to give you the moon, but instead, what have I given you, huh? Not much. Some husband I am. I feel terrible.
Me too. Mornings especially.
I mean, you could have married Sam Wainwright, anybody else.
I didn't want anybody else. I wanted my baby to look like you.
You didn't even get a honeymoon. No fancy, You what?
My baby.
Baby what? You mean you're on the nest?
Well, Clarence, Mary had her baby, a boy.
Oh, that's nice.
Then another one, a girl.
Good for them.
But George slaved away at the building and loan, and Potter made things tough for him. Then came the war. Mary had another baby, but still found time to run the USO. Uncle Billy and Mr. Gower sold war bonds, and George's brother Harry became a real hero. He shot down 15 planes.
And George? What did George do in the war?
Well, George was a 4F due to his bad ear. He was an air raid warden. But on VE Day, he wept and prayed. And on VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
Well, then we're just about up to today.
Yes. The only thing you don't know about George Bailey is what happened that has him down there at this moment wanting to die.
Suicide. Well, what is it, boss?
All right. Today is the day before Christmas, and George is very excited.
Tilly, did you see the newspaper? Commander Harry Bailey, decorated by President. My brother, the Medal of Honor.
Gosh, George, that's just swell.
Commander Bailey downed 15 enemy planes, the last a kamikaze, just as it was about to dive into troop transport. Think of it. Harry saved hundreds of lives.
George, the bank examiner's here.
The annual audit, right. Well, good afternoon,
Carter, bank examiner.
Ms. Carter. Tilly, bring Miss Carter here to the conference room and bring the books. And where's Uncle Billy?
He's depositing $8,000 at the bank.
Well, Mr. Potter. Here to personally guard your money?
Look out, Bailey, you old fool. My wheelchair.
Did you see the news? Harry Bailey gets the Medal of Honor. What do those Bailey boys do next?
Huh? Let me see that newspaper.
Sure, here. Sorry I can't chat more, you old thief. I gotta make a deposit.
Next customer, please.
Hello. Let's see here. Here you are, bank book, deposit slip, and a Merry Christmas to you.
To you too, Mr. Bailey, but, haven't you forgotten something?
I forget things all the time.
So, Mr. Bailey, where's the money?
What?
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you.
The money? The money? It's gone! Where did I put that money?
Guard, wheel me out of here.
Take note, Clarence. Uncle Billy couldn't find the deposit money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in the newspaper he gave to Mr. Potter.
The money was in the newspaper? So that's why George and Uncle Billy are scouring the street.
I just don't know what happened to it, George. I just don't know.
$8,000, and the bank examiner's here. It belongs to the depositors.
No. I've searched every step I took.
Well, maybe you never put the envelope in your pocket in the first place.
Maybe, but I'm no good to you, George. No good.
Now, where's that money, you old fool? This means bankruptcy, scandal, prison. One of us is going to jail. Well, it won't be me. You keep looking. You hear? I'm going home.
George.
George, you haven't said a word since you came home. Well, was Zuzu sleeping?
No, she was showing me some flower prize she won at school. I touched it and one of the petals fell off. She asked me to fix it, but Does Janie have to keep playing that over and over again?
I gotta practice for the Christmas party, Daddy.
What is it, dear? A hectic day?
Oh yeah, a red letter day for the Baileys.
Hey, Dad, the Browns got a brand new car. You should see it.
Well, what's the matter with our car? Not good enough for you?
Sorry, Dad. I
Oh,
only wanted to...
run along now, Petey.
Why is Zuzu in bed so early anyway?
Oh, she caught a little cold coming home from school. Didn't button up her coat. She didn't want to crush that prize flower, so...
What do you mean, a little cold?
Oh, don't worry, dear. The doctor said it was nothing serious.
The doctor? The doctor came? It's this drafty old house. It's no wonder we don't all have pneumonia.
George.
I mean, why do we live here in the first place? Why in this crummy little town?
What's wrong, dear?
Everything's wrong. Oh, why do we have to have all these kids anyway?
Daddy, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Hello? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welch. Oh, she'll be all right. Mm-hmm.
Who is it, Mary?
It's Mrs. Welch, Zuzu's teacher. What? Oh, yes. Well, the doctor said she should be just fine in a couple of days.
Give me that
or
phone,
so.
Mary.
George, please.
Is this Mrs. Welch? Well, this is Mr. Bailey. Now, what kind of teacher are you? Do you realize you could have given her pneumonia?
George!
Silly colors people like you sending kids home half naked? You know, maybe my kids aren't the best dressed in... Hello? Hello? Ah. Janie, enough! With the piano, cut it out, stop!
Oh, Daddy.
George, whatever's wrong with you? Must you torture the children too?
I'm sorry, Janie. Sorry, Mary.
George,
I just gotta get out of here.
So, you're $8,000 short in your accounts, George? You say the money was lost? What if it was stolen? Maybe you should notify the police.
No, sir. You see, Harry's homecoming is tomorrow, and the publicity wouldn't be good.
Oh, so you've come to me for a loan? Why not your buddy Sam Wainwright?
Well, I tried to get a hold of him, but He's in Europe right now and being
So
Christmas
you
Eve and
want
all.
a loan from me for $8,000. What do you have as collateral, George?
Well, I have some life insurance here, a $15,000 policy.
15,000, but what's your equity in it?
$500. I've been meaning to put more in, but it's been real tight lately, and
500? And you want an emergency loan on Christmas Eve for 8,000?
Yes.
Ha! You're pathetic, George Bailey. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. Well, George Bailey, what are you but a warped, frustrated young man?
I'm trying.
Look at you now, crawling to me for help. Ha! Go to the riffraff you love so well. Go beg them for help.
Please, Mr. Potter, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swear out a warrant for your arrest. Get out of here!
The nerve of that Henry Potter. He had George's $8,000 sitting in his desk drawer.
What will George do now, boss? Where is he?
Well, he's at Martini's Tavern. George has had a couple of drinks. He's dazed, just standing there.
Our Father who art in heaven, oh God. I've never been a praying man, but if you're listening, God, please show me the way, please. I'm lost, God. Please?
Mr. Bailey, you alright? Mr. Martini, George here don't look so good.
You right, Nick. Mr. Bailey, you drinking too much.
Bailey? Which Bailey are you talking about?
This Mr. Bailey? Mr. George Bailey.
George Bailey, why you... Listen, Bailey, if you ever talk to my wife that way again, you'll get even worse. Ain't it bad enough she has to teach her stupid kids how to read and write all day? Then you have to go bawl her out on the phone?
Hey, beat it, Mr. Welsh. You punching my best friend. Out of here. Nick, throw him out, Nick.
Go on, Welsh, beat it.
All right, I'm going.
Mr. Bailey, how are you doing?
Oh, Martini. Who was that?
That, Mr. Welsh. He don't come here no more. Wait, Mr. Bailey, I get something for your face. Look, the blood.
No, that's all right.
Please, don't go. Mr. Bailey, stay.
Go on, just leave me alone, will ya?
Well, Clarence, George is now at the river. He's about to jump. Do you have your plan ready?
I don't know, boss.
Well, if you can save George Bailey's life, you'll get your wings.
My wings? Oh, yes, my wings. I won't let you down, boss. George Bailey! Don't jump, George! Get away from that bridge! George, stop!
We'll return to the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life in just a moment. But first, a word from our sponsors.
There are things that go bump in the night.
It's so frightening to think about what's out in the dark.
But with H&S protection systems on the job, you will have nothing to worry about.
Really?
Really? H&S Protection Systems offers security systems for both your home and office, monitoring services, and even interactive and video surveillance security systems. With H&S Protection Systems, you'll always feel safe.
My heroes.
H&S Protection Systems, protecting lives and property since 1959.
Has your family been spending too much time on the couch? Do you need something that will get you moving?
Dance Dynamics.
Are you interested in movement and dance?
Dance Dynamics.
Music and movement, ballet and jazz.
Dance Dynamics.
Modern, hip hop, or tap.
Dance Dynamics.
And theater and ballroom dancing. Dance Dynamics in Plover offers something for everyone. They even have a virtual option so you can dance at home.
Dance Dynamics.
Dance Dynamics on Post Road in Plover. When in doubt, dance it out.
This year has been a doozy for every community program involved in the arts. Shuttered theaters and closed music halls pockmark our nation. The Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater is able to still bring you quality programs like this one thanks to the support of our family, friends, and community. It is to these wonderful people that we dedicate this production. And now, the thrilling conclusion of the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater's production of It's a Wonderful Life. A troubled George Bailey stands on the Bedford Falls toll bridge, convinced that he's worth more dead than alive. Staring down at the freezing waters below, deep in despair, George Bailey is poised to end it all. When suddenly...
Help! Help me! I'm drowning! Drowning! Help!
Oh my god! Mister! Wait, here I come!
You two are sure lucky my tow booth is open tonight. Otherwise you have froze to death. Jumping in the river like that. Are you warming up now?
Well, I'm okay. And you, mister?
Clarence, I'm fine. Although, my underwear's a bit out of fashion. I passed away in it.
You passed what?
And Tom Sawyer's drying out too.
The name's George.
No, my book. I still had Tom Sawyer with me. But, you know, there is a Tom Sawyer quality to you, George. Lots of ideas, wanderlust, you know.
So how did you fall in the river?
Fall in? I didn't fall in. I jumped in. Jumped in to save you, George.
Jumped in to save me?
Well, it worked, right? You didn't go through with your plan, did you?
Go through with what plan?
You know, suicide.
Hey! You can't commit suicide around here. I think it's against the law.
Well, it is where I come from.
Where do you come from, mister?
Oh, you know, heaven.
What?
Right.
Oh, George, you're bleeding. Your lip?
Oh, that. I got punched in answer to a prayer.
No, George. I'm the answer to your prayer. I was sent down from heaven to help you.
Oh, come on.
I'm Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
AS2?
You know, Angel. Second class.
Angel. Right. Well, I'm going to see if any other angels just save somebody.
Clarence. Now, why save me?
Because killing yourself is a sin, especially for $8,000. Oh, I know all about you, George Bailey. Remember? Guardian angel.
Uh-huh. And you're just the kind of angel I'd get. Angel, huh? So where are your wings?
I'm an angel second class, George. I haven't earned my wings yet, but you can help me earn them by letting me help you.
Help me? Okay, you couldn't help me with $8,000, could you?
Oh, but we don't use money in heaven.
Oh, well, it sure comes in handy around here, bub. I just found out a little late. But since you know so much, did you know I'm worth more dead than alive?
Oh, don't talk that way, George. I'll never get my wings if you keep that up. You just don't realize what you've done for people. I mean, if it hadn't been for you...
If it hadn't been for me, they'd all be better off. My wife, kids, my friends. I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, that's a good one, George.
Good what?
The plan you just gave me. It reminds me of Tom Sawyer. Well, let me see here.
Hey, what the...
Okay, George. You got your wish. You were never born.
Never born?
That's right. You have no worries, no missing $8,000. You don't exist.
Hey, wait, my ear. Say something in my bad ear.
You hear me all right. You don't have a bad ear. That's because you're not the George Bailey you used to be. Now you're, well, you're nobody.
That's nuts. But I can hear.
And your lip stopped bleeding.
Hey, it did. What's happening? I need a drink. Yeah, that's it. How about you, Angel? Want to join me for a drink?
A drink? Well, I'm on duty, you know.
Join me. When our clothes are dry, we can go down to...
They are dry. They never got wet, you see?
Okay. Okay, so let's dress and walk over to Martini's Tavern and have a... Oh, sorry, no wings. Well, after a few drinks, we'll both be flying.
What'll it be, fellas?
Nick, is Martini still here?
You want a martini? Are you a wise guy?
No, just give me a double bourbon then.
And for you?
I just love mulled wine with a dollop of nutmeg and just a dash of cloves. Hop to it, my lively lad.
Mulled what?
That's okay, Nick. Just give him the same as me.
Ugh, 2 double bourbons.
Why is Nick acting that way? What's going on here? The tavern's all changed.
Bedford Falls has changed. You got your wish, George. You were never born. It's a different world without you. Oh, good. At least somebody made it.
Made what, Clarence?
Here are your drinks.
Well, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
What'd you say, angel?
Angel, second class.
Clarence, you don't want to talk about angels in here.
Why? They don't believe in angels?
Well, sure, they believe in them, but...
So they're surprised to actually see one?
In a bar? Yeah.
Sorry, Nick. He just never grew up.
Sure I did. Next September, I'll be 293.
2 pixies, eh? I'll bet you got no money either.
Of course not. We don't use money in heaven.
Well, this ain't heaven. That's enough. Out, out. Get out of my bar.
Your bar? Where's Martini, Nick?
You ain't getting no martini. And how do you know my name? I don't know you's from, hey, you again.
Spare some change, sir? Spare some change, please?
Oh no, Rummy. I told you never to come in here panhandling.
Mr. Gower? Mr. Gower, listen. You know me. I'm George Bailey. George Bailey?
Buy me a drink, mister, huh? Just one drink, come on.
Throw that Rummy out.
Oh no, please, no.
But that's Mr. Gower from the pharmacy.
Yeah, that rum-headed 20 years in prison for poisoning a kid. And if you know him, hey, maybe use a rum-head too. That's it, Bill. Get these two out of here. Out, out.
What happened to Mr. Gower? How could that be? Poisoning a kid?
Don't you see, George? You weren't there to stop Gower from putting the poison into the medicine.
I wasn't there? Sure I was there.
No, because you were not born.
Not born? Well, who am I then?
Nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean? I'm George Bailey.
No, you're not. No papers, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance policy.
Zuzu's petals. I was going to kind of fix them for her flower.
They aren't there either, George. You may have put them in your pocket before, but now you don't exist.
It's gone. Gone. What? Am I a ghost?
You've been given a gift, George, to see the world as if you had never been born.
You're nuts. And you're driving me nuts too. I'm going home to my wife and family. Do you hear me? Leave me alone. Step on it, Ernie. You gotta get me home. I'm losing my mind.
Uh-huh. So where do you live, bub?
Now cut it out, Ernie. Don't pull that on me. I live at 320 Sycamore.
320 Sycamore.
Listen, Ernie, I don't know what's going on here. I'm crazy or something. Maybe I had some bad liquor. Tell me now. Your name's Ernie Bishop, right? You live with your wife and son over at Bailey Park?
What, have you seen my wife?
Seen your wife? Of course I have. 100 times at your house. I built it for you, didn't I?
My wife took the kid and ran away 5 years ago, and I rent one of the Potter Shacks. I've never seen you before.
Okay, Ernie. I mean, okay. Just keep driving. Mary, kids! Where is everybody? Petey, Janie, Zuzu, where are you?
This is just an abandoned house, George. You don't have a wife or children.
What's happened to them?
In there, officer. That's him. He's off his rocker.
Hold it, you two. This is the police. Put up your hands.
Bert the cop? Wait, it's me.
Take it easy, mister. Come along quiet-like and we'll get you some help.
Bert, what's happened to you? Look, it's this guy here. He's an angel. He hypnotized me.
Uh-huh. I'm taking the both of you. Ow! Let go of me, you...
Now's your chance, George! Run!
Bite me, will ya?
Hey, you! You wouldn't beat an old angel, would you? Wait! Boss! Help! Help me!
What the... Hey, Ernie. Where'd the guy go?
I don't know. He just disappeared. The other ran down south, Sycamore. Come on.
I'm sorry, George.
You again? My mother. She didn't recognize me. What is this place? Where's the housing development? Bailey Park. My dad and I built it right here?
As you can see, it's a cemetery, George.
Cemetery? Where are the houses, the people?
Oh, they're here, George. They're here.
What?
Amidst these tombstones. Martini's buried here, the little Blaine girl, your father, and right next to him...
Harry? Harry Bailey? Dead?
Your little brother fell through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9.
No! No! Harry won the Medal of Honor. He saved every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died, George.
How?
Harry wasn't there to save them. Because you weren't there to save Harry.
Me?
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. You know, George, you really had a wonderful life.
Wonderful?
The kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but men do not see it. Don't you see? See what a mistake it would be to throw your life away, George.
What about Mary? Please, where's my wife? Tell me where she is.
You won't like it, George.
What's become of her? Where's my wife? Where is she? Tell me, or do I have to choke it out of you?
She never married. She's an old maid. She works at the library. She's just closing up for the night, but she... George! George, come back! Oh, there must be an easier way to get my wings.
Mary,
I'm sorry, sir. The library's closed.
No, Mary, it's me, George. George, come on, you know me.
No, I don't know you. Excuse me.
Mary, I got you. I want you, please.
No, stop. Let me go. Somebody help. Somebody please help me. He's mad.
Clarence! Clarence, where are you?
Here I am, George. So, are you going to jump off this bridge again?
No, Clarence. I want things back the way they were. Just get me back to my wife and kids, Clarence. I want to live again.
Oh, that's the spirit, George. Don't despair. Always be willing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Can you do it? Can you do it for me, Clarence? I want to live again. God, let me live again. Yes, let me live again. Oh, God, I want to live again. Oh, yes, God, please.
George, what are you doing here?
Bert? Come any closer and I'll...
What in Sam Hell are you yelling about, George?
What? George? George? Bert, do you know me?
Know you? I've been looking all over town for you, George.
Why, Bert? I'm alive again! Alive! Again, yes!
Are you all right, George? You know, your mouth's bleeding.
My mouth? My mouth is bleeding! Look at that blood oozing out of there! And hey, Zuzu's petals. I had them in my pocket. Over. They're here. Oh, in my pocket. Hey, Merry Christmas, Bert! I'm going home. I know the way home, boy, do I know the way home. Merry Christmas, Bert!
Merry Christmas, George.
What? Oh, reporters. The sheriff, yes, and you.
Carter, bank examiner. Mr. Bailey, your books show a deficit.
Yes, I know. $8,000, right?
George, I've got a warrant for your arrest here.
Yes, a warrant, Sheriff. Jail? Isn't it wonderful? Merry Christmas.
Daddy, we found you! Oh, we've been looking everywhere!
yes.
Oh, Daddy!
Oh, I love you so. Where's your mother?
Out looking for you with Uncle Billy.
Daddy!
Zuzu, Ginger Snap, how are you feeling?
Fine, Daddy. Not a smidge of temperature.
Not a smidge. Hallelujah.
George? George!
Mommy's home, Mommy!
Mary!
George, where did you go?
Mary!
Oh, George.
Mary, I have to touch you, hold you. Oh, you've no idea what happened.
You have no idea what's happened.
George, look what I've got.
Uncle Billy.
Money, George. Bushels of money. Mary worked a miracle, didn't you, Mary?
People heard you were in trouble, dear. Your friends. They've pitched in to help you. The $8,000.
Charlie, Martini, and Mr. Gower. Mr. Gower, thank you. Thank you. I can't believe it. Ernie.
Well, none of this would have a roof over our heads if it wasn't for you, George.
Mother. Harry.
George, Mary called us in Washington. I flew in as fast as I could.
Come on, everybody. A toast, a toast. Harry.
Yes, a toast to my brother George, the richest man in town. To George!
To
George! George, somebody left a book here under the tree.
Why, it's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. And there's an inscription. Dear George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Clarence?
Yeah, a very dear friend of mine.
Daddy, look! See my little bell hanging on a Christmas tree?
I see it, Zuzu.
I hung it up there all by myself. Daddy, Mrs. Welch says, every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings.
That's right, Zuzu, that's right. Thank you, Clarence. Thank you. It truly is a wonderful life. Happy landing.
For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang
It's a Wonderful Life, based on Frank Capra's film, was adapted for radio by Tony Palermo. Music performed and composed by Jonathan Green. Technical director J.R. Amernick. Audio and video producer was Tom Russell. Director Joseph Nowinski. Our radio troupe featured as Petey Bailey and Dr. Campbell, Noah Tolbert. As Zuzu Bailey, Emily Walquist. As Ms. Thompson Carter, the bank examiner, Beth Juris. As Mr. Welsh, Jeff Tressler. As impatient neighbor, J.R. Amernick. As Ernie and toll taker, Jefferson Lee. As Cousin Tilly and Janie Bailey, Zoe Zaleski. As young George and Charlie, Nicholas Lamers. As Mrs. Hatch and Martini, Melissa Pataki. As Mrs. Davis and bank teller, Allison Wasinski. As Mr. Gower and Bert, Stephen Witt. As Ma Bailey, Amanda David. As Sam Wainwright and Harry Bailey, John Zhang. As Uncle Billy, Larry Iverson. As Mr. Potter, Andy Felt. As Pop Bailey and Nick, Peter Monk. As the superintendent, Tanya Hayes. As Clarence, Amanda Peterson. As Mary Bailey, Amanda Freeberg. And as George Bailey, Christopher Bongin. And I'm your announcer, Mark Krawczyk. Thanks for tuning in to this very merry production of It's a Wonderful Life, produced by the Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater. On behalf of the cast and crew, we hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year.